नमस्कार दोस्तों। हेल्थ इज वेल्थ के इस 7वें एपिसोड में हम रोग पर नहीं, योग पर चर्चा करने जा रहे हैं। रोगी होने के बाद तो उपचार की आवश्यकता होती है, लेकिन बुद्धिमान मनुष्य यदि योग को फॉलो करना शुरू कर दे तो उसे रोग सताएंगे ही नहीं। हाँ, ऐसा भगवत गीता में भी कहा गया, युक्ताहार विहार से युक्त युक्त कर्म से चेष्टसु युक्त स्वप्नावबोधस्य योगो भवति दुःखः। मतलब योग के पास सब कुछ पावर है। दुख हरने का पावर भी है, आपको प्रसन्न रखने की शक्ति भी है, आपको स्वस्थ रखने की भी शक्ति है। लेकिन ऐसा क्या होता है कि हम योग नियमित रूप से नहीं कर पाते हैं? इन सब बातों पर चर्चा करने के लिए हमारे पास एक्सपर्ट आए हुए हैं, मिस्टर आशीष पाल, जिनके साथ चर्चा करेंगी हमारी टीम की मॉडरेटर षणमुख प्रिया। तो मैं सबसे पहले षणमुख जी को इनवाइट करता हूं। वो आपको आशीष जी के बारे में थोड़ा सा डिस्क्रिप्शन देंगे, फिर हम हमारी चर्चा आरंभ करते हैं। प्लीज षणमुख जी।
Good evening, everybody. On behalf of Tripurariji's team, we welcome you all for the wonderful session of Health and Wealth series on Yog or Rog with Ashish ji. So it's an honor to welcome Ashish Pal ji. To brief about him, he conquered his BTech in NIIT Hamirpur, and he has different work experience in various fields as he has been a designer engineer, ABB India Limited Faridabad, and managing partner Shrika Consultancy Private Limited Chandigarh, assistant manager procurement and global sourcing ACME Telepower Limited Goregaon, director BD and marketing CV Engineers Private Limited New Delhi, partner the Park Cafe Solan, worked as a business head IDOAG Noida, and a business owner of Enchanting Himalayas Tour and Travels Himachal Pradesh, and a yoga teacher from 2017 to current, and now a master trainer for 200-hour, 300-hour, and prenatal teacher trainer program of Shri Shri School of Yoga. So it's very, very honor to welcome Ashish Pal ji on this board. So I hand over to Ashish Pal ji.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Tanmuga Priya ji. एंड वेलकम एवरीबॉडी। आप सबका बहुत बहुत हार्दिक स्वागत है मेरी तरफ से। आप में से कुछ लोगों को शायद मैं जानता भी हूँ और कुछ लोगों से मेरा पहली बार ये कन्वर्सेशन वार्तालाप होगा। तो एक बहुत ही सुंदर मौका है आज, बिकॉज एक तो उगादी है, आज एक नव वर्ष है भारत का। सो विश यू अ वेरी हैप्पी उगादी, विश यू अ वेरी हैप्पी हिंदू कैलेंडर न्यू ईयर। और आज का बहुत ही एक देखिए, हम हर साल दिसंबर जो हमारा कैलेंडर ईयर होता है, ग्रिगोरियन कैलेंडर होता है, हम दिसंबर लास्ट में एक संकल्प लेते हैं, हमेशा लेते ही हैं कि हाँ जनवरी से कुछ स्वास्थ्य के ऊपर करेंगे। सो वी ऑलवेज हैव दिस thought process that let's next year we are going to and we should do some sankalpa about the health and what is the best way to take a sankalpa about our health which encapsulate both फिजिकल एंड मेंटल वेलबींग, है ना। तो संकल्प लेना ही है तो अपने स्वास्थ्य के लिए ले, जो कि हमारे शारीरिक और मानसिक दोनों स्वास्थ्य के लिए लाभदायक है ना। तो इनफैक्ट आयुर्वेदा भी ये कहता है कि स्वास्थ्य सिर्फ शरीर में रोग ना होना ही नहीं, बट हमारे मन की प्रसन्नता और आत्मा की प्रसन्नता, हमारे प्राण शक्ति की एक अच्छा ये ऊर्जा होनी, ये सभी एक स्वास्थ्य के कारक हैं। सो ऑल द स्वास्थ्य is not only limited to the physical well-being but also the mental well-being, the emotional well-being, and also the well-being on the level of the spirit, that the spirit is blissful. So in fact Ayurveda is something which encapsulates health from a complete perspective, and yoga is one solution that offers complete health, because in one of the greatest seminal texts of yoga, which is called the Patanjali Yoga Sutra, there is a sutra which says Heyam Dukham Anagatam. That means yoga is to be able to remove all the miseries that are yet to come in life, है ना। तो जीवन से उन सभी मुश्किलों को, कठिनाइयों को मुक्त कर देना उनके आने से पहले ही योग है। तो ये तो हेल्थ की डेफिनेशन हो गई। So we in the English also we have something called precaution is always better than cure, right? So rather than reaching a state where uh, yoga and medicine becomes a tool to come out of a disease, it's better to have something in your life as a lifestyle, which is nothing but yoga, so that you don't get into that cycle of coming out of a disease. So we train our body, mind, and the spirit in a way that we are niroga to begin with. Yes, don't you agree? Yes. So I would really like to see all of you switch on your cameras. हाँ मैं चाहूंगा कि आप सब अपने कैमरा स्विच ऑन करें, बिकॉज ऐसा लगता है कि जैसे अगर मैं अपना कैमरा ऑफ कर लूं और फिर बंद कैमरा में आप सबसे इंटरेक्ट करूं तो कैसा लगेगा ना। ऐसी आवाज आ रही है तो वो तो रेडियो है है ना। रेडियो सुनने में तो कुछ इतना आनंद नहीं आता है ना। सो आई वुड रिक्वेस्ट यू टू switch on your cameras and so that we can interact and it could look as if I am talking to you in person, है ना। बहुत बढ़िया। तो देखिए योगा एक बहुत एक सुंदर टूल है। इनफैक्ट देयर इज अनदर वेरी ब्यूटीफुल बुक कॉल्ड इनफैक्ट इट इज वन ऑफ द एपिक्स और द इतिहासास ऑफ इंडिया। रामायण तो वी हैव हर्ड, राइट? Yes, how many of you have not heard Ramayana? Raise your hands. Not heard of Ramayana. I think everybody has heard, no? So from Ramayana, there is a very beautiful book which is called the Yoga Vashishta. है ना? So Yoga Vashishta defines yoga as a beautiful way to calm down the mind. है ना? So mano prashmano upayah yoga ityabhidiyate. That means it is that tool of the mind, or it is that tool or skillful method that helps you calm the mind. And this is what yoga is. हमारे मन को शांत स्थिति में लेकर आने की जो भी तंत्र है, जो भी विद्या है या जो भी तकनीक है, उसे योग कहते हैं। समझ आया है ना। तो देखो योग को हम बहुत अलग अलग तरीके से समझते हैं कि योग क्या है। योगा इज अ यूनियन ऑफ बॉडी माइंड एंड सोल। आप में से पहले मुझे एक बात बताओ, आप में से कितने लोगों ने अपने आत्मा के दर्शन किए? हाँ, कभी कोई शेर अगर पीछे दौड़ पड़ा हो तो शायद आत्मा के दर्शन हो जाते हैं, या कभी एकदम से सामने से सांप आ गया तो सच में आपके आत्मा के दर्शन हो ही जाते हैं। बट सत्य अगर देखें, इफ वी गो इनटू द रियलिटी ऑफ दिस वर्ड आत्मन, हाउ मेनी ऑफ यू हैव एक्चुअली रियलाइज्ड द आत्मन? I myself have never even gotten close to Atman, so I have no idea. So when people say this definition of yoga, it is the union of body, mind, and soul. I really don't understand. It's only in the theoretical concept, है ना। सिर्फ हमारे विचार के या तर्क के एक स्थिति में हम समझ पा रहे हैं इसको कि योग क्या है। बट अगर उसको सरल भाषा में हम समझने की कोशिश करें योग क्या है, हम में से कितने लोग ऐसे हैं जिनके मन में उथल पुथल चलता रहता है? हाउ मेनी ऑफ यू हैव दिस where your mind is always in the state of up and down? It's like a, you know, sinusoidal curve of a Bombay Stock Exchange market, right? It just kabhi upar, kabhi niche. Sometimes it's up, sometimes it's down. So your mind has this constant vacillation or the oscillation between being happy, being sad, being good, being bad, पास्ट फ्यूचर, है ना। तो ये तो जितने भी हम आर्ट लिविंग के जितने भी लोग हैं, ऑडियंस हैं, उन लोगों को तो ये काफी अच्छे से पता ही है। और इस मन को जो हमेशा निरंतर आगे पीछे दौड़ता रहता है, उसको एक इस क्षण में स्थित कर लेना ही योग है ना। सो इनफैक्ट वन ऑफ द अनदर डेफिनेशन ऑफ योगा एज पर अगेन महर्षि पतंजलि योग सूत्र इज योग चित्त वृत्ति निरोधः। दैट मीन्स हमारे मन की जो वृत्तियां हैं, हमारे मन की जो उड़ने की जो एक आदत है, उसको लगाम दे देना ताकि हमारा मन इस घड़ी में टिक जाए, उसे योग कहते हैं। अब वो योग होना, दैट experience of being in yoga can happen in many ways. There are many ways to bring the mind into the present moment. One of the major technique to bring the mind into the present moment is meditation, ध्यान। ध्यान माध्यम से हम अपने मन को टिका सकते हैं। लेकिन ध्यान एकदम से कर लेना या हो पाना भी, ये भी एक एक प्रश्नीय वो है, थॉट है ना। दिस इज अ क्वेश्चनेबल थॉट that whether through the meditation you'll be able to contain your mind. What if somebody's mind is too agitated? If you ask them to meditate, they'll not be able to meditate. That's why there are other tools to bring you in a state of meditation where yoga happens. And for that, one of the most important tool is pranayama and asana, right? In fact, when we say from the Hatha Yoga perspective, there is a sequence that is generally given, which is asana, pranayama, bandhas and mudras, and fourth is samadhi or the meditation, right? Abhi samadhi or meditation, again, they are two different things, but I'm just trying to establish a point, trying to bring them as a similar thing. But दोनों में भी फर्क है. लेकिन हर एक व्यक्ति का अपना मन की स्थिति अलग होती है. एवरीबडी हैज अ डिफरेंट स्टेट ऑफ माइंड एंड दे आल्सो हैव अ डिफरेंट स्टेट ऑफ देयर प्रैक्टिसेस, राइट? सो फॉर समबडी, लेट्स से मीनल कोटक, it would be necessary for her to undergo a asana practice because her mind is too agitated. So to bring down the state of the mind in a calmer state of mind, so that meditation, so that yoga happens, she might have to do 1 hour of physical workout in form of yoga. Yes, for some, only doing 5 minutes of Nadi Shodhan Pranayama or doing a short pranayama will be able to bring their mind into a center so that meditation can happen. For some advanced practitioners of yoga, just by sitting into meditation, their mind can be calmed down. Yes, in fact, even बिटवीन ऑल ऑफ अस, हम सब जो यहाँ पे इस मीटिंग में है, आपने भी अपने जीवन में देखा होगा कि कभी कभी किसी दिन में आपका मन बहुत ज्यादा एजिटेटेड होता है कि नहीं? उस दिन आप अगर मेडिटेशन में बैठते हो, क्या होता है? जैसे ही आंख बंद करी तो आपका मन बंदर की तरह इधर से उधर दौड़ता शुरू हो जाता है. Happens or not? The moment you close your eyes, the mind starts moving all over the place. There are some days when you are already very tired. The moment you sit in meditation, your thoughts also calm down and you feel that you have achieved a great state of meditation, right? So this is ultimately the secret of happiness, that how to contain the mind into a present moment, and this is what yoga is, right? So I would like to now interject at this point. यदि आपके कुछ प्रश्न हैं, we could take up this conversation somewhere so that there could be a structure of this conversation. तो योग के बारे में जितना मुझे बोलना था वो मैंने बोल दिया, बट एक सरल भाषा में समझे कि योग क्या है, वो अभी हमने थोड़ा सा समझ लिया. So we've understood the yoga from a very basic perspective, and this is a common understanding by which people can get an idea, okay, what is yoga?
Yeah. So from what age we can start doing yoga, Bhaiya?
Yeah. So Gurudev Shri Shri Ravi Shankar ji always says that there is no age to begin yoga, and in fact, when we say 2 years is a good age to start learning yoga. 5 years is actually a good age to start learning yoga. But Gurudev always says that children are even born yogis, so they don't need to do yoga. Rather, we should learn from them. So I would say at the age of around 7 or so, 5 to 7, is this time where their new samskaras are getting developed. Because until the age of 5 and 6, their the previous samskaras are being carried over and they are very innocent. They're in a very innocent state of mind. And after the age of 6 or 7, their mind starts getting developed. So this is the time where their mind needs to be tamed. In fact, in the Shastras, it is said until the age of 7, you should not tell a child to do anything. In fact, in the old Gurukula system, 7 years was the age where children used to be sent to the Gurukul. Before that, they were not taught anything so that they could just live on their own. So ये हमारे भारतीय संस्कृति में पहले भी ऐसा ही है कि 7 वर्ष की उम्र से ही उनका विद्या आरंभम किया जाता था. So 7 years is actually a good age to begin doing yoga. Before that, they are already yogis. What are you going to teach them? Rather, we should learn from them.
Thank you, Bhaiya. Bhaiya, one question is that I am doing regular walking. Do I need to do yoga also? Then what is the difference between walking and yoga?
Yeah. So see, depends on whether you should do yoga or whether you don't want to do yoga. That depends upon, number one, your preference, your choice. Because what yoga can do walking cannot, right? So I would say that walking is a subset of yoga. Rather, yoga is a superset and walking is a subset. So आपका walking करने से आपके शरीर में मे बी आपके जो हैप्पी हार्मोन्स हैं वो आपके बढ़ जाते हैं, बट इट्स ओनली फॉर अ पीरियड ऑफ 5 to 10 minutes, or it remains only until 5 to 10 minutes after you have stopped walking. But when you do yoga, your happy hormones, the dopamine level in the body increases and it sustains for a longer period of time. And yoga, maybe by walking, your only couple of systems in the body get triggered. For example, your musculoskeletal system, your cardiovascular system is active because you are walking, your heartbeat is increasing and it is getting stabilized at a place. But when you're doing yoga, which is a complete integration of asana, pranayama, and meditation, all factors, all 9 systems of the body, whether you're circulatory system, whether respiratory system, endocrine system, your nervous system, your musculoskeletal system, your urinary system, your reproductive system, all systems which I have missed also, all those systems are working optimally. And your emotional well-being is also getting taken care. Yes. So choice is yours. I would definitely recommend that do more than walking.
So, as you just incorporated all the 5 things, so after yoga, do I need to meditate? What
Yeah.
is the importance of meditation after yoga?
So Gurudev Sri Sri Ravi Shankar ji always says that, see, meditation is the most important part of yoga. In fact, that is the yoga, right? So all the effect of doing asanas, pranayamas, they can be integrated into your whole body, mind consciousness only when you complete it with meditation. If you're only doing asana, only doing pranayama, and not doing the meditation, it's as if you are preparing the bed the whole night and the whole day, and at the end, not getting to sleep on it. So, this is the classical example that Gurudev gives. है ना? So, ध्यान नहीं किया तो मानो आपने पूरे रात भर दिन भर पूरे के पूरा अपना बेड अच्छे से सजाया और रात को सोने को ही नहीं मिला. तो ऐसा है ध्यान ना करना, है ना? So it's a very important part of yoga. It cannot be left out in yoga, and that's something that we need to keep in mind.
So yoga and meditation is important. So when I can do the yoga, anytime can I practice in the night also, or any particular time you suggest?
Yeah. So see, when we talk about yoga, and specifically here, when we talk about asanas and pranayamas and meditation, the best time to do is early morning, and especially during the Brahma Muhurat, which is basically before sunrise, 45 minutes before sunrise, the Muhurta ends. And so the beginning or 45 minutes of that Muhurta is the perfect time to start doing your spiritual practices. But nevertheless, if you are not doing yoga in the Brahma Muhurat per se, but still the best possible time is early morning. Whenever you wake up, around sunrise time is a perfect time when you can do. Your body's heat is also leveled. Your body detox is also happening during that time. So it's the ideal time to do yoga. But if you're not able to do it in the morning, it's okay to do it in the evening also, provided your energization techniques are not so activating that at the end it might make you become so heavy on prana, or so much of prana would be there that you might not be able to get a sound sleep. So ideally, best time is morning because it increases the prana level in the body, and prana is required for the working of the whole day. If you do that same active pranayamas and activation of the prana in the body in the evening time, you might not get sleep. But nevertheless, if you do not have time to do that, evening is also okay, but not to do in the night time, not to do it in the daytime, because when you do asanas, pranayamas per se, it is not a good time because of the energy already being too hot in the in the vata pitta kapha time. So it's a pitta period between 10 to 2 p.m. morning, 10 to 2 p.m. It's a pitta period. If you do asanas during that time, your body heat is going to increase. But yes, that's a good time to meditate. You can definitely meditate uh, before having meals. Meditation can be done anytime throughout the day before meals. Okay.
Again, as you touched upon meals, so yoga and food diet has any connection?
Yes, in fact, it is very important that a balanced sattvic diet is taken when you're doing yoga. When we say sattvic diet, it increases the prana shakti in the body, and not taking food items which are heavy in the tamas or which make you dull. So it could be stale food, it could be food which is not freshly prepared, which is stored for a longer period of time, so the prana shakti of that food item reduces over a period of time, right? Because it starts decaying. The fresher the food item is, the faster assimilation you get in the body. In fact, when we say the sun is the source of this whole earth, so the organism, which are the plants, which directly extract the sun's energy through the process of chlorophyll, is basically the items, or basically the food items that store maximum amount of energy that is directly coming from the sun. So lower the uh, what you can say cycle of that food, the whole food chart is, the lesser the prana level is. So higher is food higher form of sattvic food or energy food are basically the freshly prepared vegetarian diets and fresh vegetables which are just coming out of the farm. The second would be your grains. The third going forward would be your non-vegetarian, your stale food, or the food which is kept for too long. So better to have lighter food to keep a lighter state of the mind.
Thank you for this clarification, Vaiha, about food and yoga practice. So now one doubt people is having that though I am doing yoga for a longer time, I didn't see any improvement in my physical, mental, and emotional level. Why so?
Yeah. So see, there could be multiple reasons. People do yoga, but yoga is not only about asana, pranayama, and meditation. It's also about lifestyle. What if you're waking up in the morning and doing yoga, and then the whole day you're having Maggie, you're having chow mein, you're having all stuff which is completely anti-yoga, right? And you are doing very good form of yoga, and then you are sleeping at 1 o'clock in the night, right? You should be ideally be sleeping at 9:30, 10, maximum 10:30. So yoga is not only related to what you are doing on the mat, but it's also off the mat. So it is very important that yoga to be practiced as a holistic practice and not just only a physical practice. So your diet, your food, your recreation, in fact, um, our Bhaiya also just mentioned that Tripurari ji, a shloka from Bhagavad Gita, Yuktahara, Yukta Chestasya. So basically, Yukta Ahara, that means balanced diet, and balanced recreation and balanced sleep is basically necessary for you to have, a label of being a yogi. So that's very important. Hmm?
Okay. So how I can make my yoga time as a routine and enjoyable?
I'll tell you, the easiest fix to make yoga as a routine is to become a yoga teacher and then take money from people, and then you have to wake up because you've already taken the money from people. Now there is no choice, and they are going to kill you if you don't do a yoga class. I tell you, this really works. Ask Shanmuga ji only. She's taken commitment from so many people. Now the moment she says I am sick, she can't be sick now. She can't fall sick because she has like at least 10, 15 people, those who are waiting for somebody who is going to come and teach yoga to me. So that's the easiest way. Unless you are super committed, which is only a rarity. I tell you, only 2 to 5% people in the world. This is a reality. I'm telling you, this is the reality. ये कुछ गलत इन्फॉर्मेशन नहीं है, बट सिर्फ 2 से 5% लोग होते हैं जिसमें जिन लोगों में इतना संकल्प शक्ति होती है कि अगर 365 दिन उनको जागना है सुबह 5 बजे, तो वो 365 दिन जागेंगे. इफ दे हैव टू wake up at 5 o'clock every day, 365 days in a year, only 5% of people exist in the world. What about those 95%? And we know where do we fall, right? We don't have to give explanation to the people, but we know very well where we are, right? So the easiest way is you take a sankalpa, you become a teacher, and then bind yourself with a commitment, then there is no escape. That becomes a boon for yourself. Blessings in disguise बोलते हैं ना जिसको. It becomes a blessing in disguise.
So now on to become a Shish Yoga teacher here.
Absolutely. We have Shish Yoga teacher training courses happening every month.
It's an additional information and boon for everybody who are here to make our own practice regular. To when teach, actually, Gurudev used to say, when you start teaching, you will start doing. So as Bhaiya absolutely told in the right manner, so have a commitment and we can all practice together. Okay, Bhaiya, as if you told about the program and all, so many people's question is, do I need a teacher to learn asana? Can I do it from YouTube or by seeing any book? What you refer?
Yeah. So, see, ideally, the best way to learn yoga is to be learned under the guidance of a yoga teacher. The reason being that every yoga teacher who has been taught by somebody is eventually coming from a long lineage of masters. So, it's also initiating somebody into the path of yoga. For example, uh, if you are reading a concept in a book, right? And you get through the concept, of course, very good concept. Theoretically, you are getting the concept. Logical mind is getting happy because you are understanding the concept. But when you experience that happening in your life, it is completely a different experience. So, a very simple example to give this connotation would be that when you're pointing your finger towards the moon, if you keep looking at the finger, you'll miss on catching the moon or seeing the real picture of the moon. Are we understanding? So the thing is, in yoga, even if you might learn yoga through books, through videos, but having a presence of a teacher becomes a bridge between your mind and the long lineage of masters or long lineage of that energy that gets passed on to you with the help of that person, even if it's online or offline. Because we had this notion that, oh, how will yoga happen in the online mode? But people are experiencing yoga, they're having deep experiences in yoga. In fact, our advanced Sanyam program, people are having a lot of experiences in Sanyam program when it started online. Nobody could imagine that Sanyam could happen online, but people are experiencing that state of being by practicing Sanyam. So that is why a yoga teacher is very important to be initiated into that energy line that is passing the energy. And there could be a possibility of injury also if you keep reading, because see, in Rishikesh, there are a lot of places, 1 hour, 7 chakras activation workshops. Do not get trapped by such foolish things. Gurudev has so many times said this thing, because you might play around with the energies which are so powerful. And in reality, we do have a power source. In fact, we say that our Manipura chakra, which is basically the navel center, has the power of 1,000 suns. Now imagine the energy on the sun. But the similar 1,000 equivalent to 1,000 sun, the energy is there in the abdomen. It is even foolish to think that how it can be. But there are different dimensions of existence. And if those energy are not taken care properly, then you get become completely off, है ना? Completely bluish range में आप आ जाते हो, है ना? इसलिए it is important to have a lineage. It's important to have a teacher who teaches you, right? That is the main important thing.
Thank you, Danu. तो अभी इतना टाइम तक योगा के बारे में इतना आपने एक्सप्लेनेशन दिया, तो हफ्ते में कितना दिन में योगा करना है या कितना साल तक में वो योगा को कंटिन्यू करना है?
देखो, योगा एक लाइफस्टाइल है ना. योगा इज अ लाइफस्टाइल. Lifestyle means that it's a part of your life. It's not something you do out of compulsion. It's a part of your habit, right? So when it's a part of your habit, you have to do it every single day. है ना? जिम में आप जाते हो, आपको लगता है चलो एक संडे फ्री हो जाएगा. तो योगा में ऐसा नहीं है. योगा में वी डोंट नीड अ संडे, बिकॉज देयर इज नो रिक्वायरमेंट ऑफ द संडे, राइट? So it is very important to include yoga as a part of your life throughout your life. And here, when we say yoga, it not necessarily means doing asanas. It not necessarily means only doing pranayama, but it's a holistic integration of what we call yoga. Meditating regularly every single day, doing some sukshma vyayam or doing some asanas every single day, and also doing pranayamas which help calm down the mind every single day, and that remains till the end of your life, till the time you are in the five elements. You should do yoga, and once you've dissociated yourself from the five elements, anyways you've united, right? So जब तक है जहां तब तक है जान, हाँ, ऐसा रखना है.
Okay, so yoga has been a part now every day in our life. So as we need to do everyday yoga, so coming to women health, women can do yoga during menses.
Yeah, so this is a very big question, debatable question, but usually I have a very clear and straight answer to this, uh, even though a lot of people might have a different opinion. So, from when we see from the Ayurvedic perspective and also yogic perspective, during the menses, a woman should rest. She should become a queen, right? She should be pampered. है ना? In the olden days, during the time, ideally, the women were not asked to do work during the period of their menses, and they were asked to not even enter kitchen. So now the ideology has changed. Ki nahi, nahi, it becomes problematic. Kitchen nahi jana, wo nahi karna. But the ideal thing in the previous days was that a woman should rest during the time. So because it's a time where number one, the prana shakti or the prana, which is called the apana vayu prana, right? Apana vayu, which is basically expulting prana in the body. It gets active in the human body. So in fact, the defecation, the urination, the procreation, and baby birth and menstruation, all these are governed by apana prana, which is basically expulsing from the body. It drains the energy from the system, right? And it is when you are doing some physical activity, it increases the prana shakti. So it is moving the apana vayu into the opposite energy. So one reason is to avoid that. Secondly, during the periods, a lot of, see, if you see from the physiological perspective or anatomy, or basically when we say physiological perspective of the menstruation is a time, or just before menstruation, it's a time where the women's body is preparing itself for pregnancy. But because the egg is not getting fertilized in the women, so because the fertilization is not happening, so the endometrium wall or the uterus wall is getting shed out as periods, right? So a lot of nourishment is getting into a woman's body, nourishes the uterus, so that if at all a baby is about to get developed in the uterus, so the nourishment is provided in the uterus, so all the nutrients on in the women's body gets concentrated in the uterus, and all the nutrients get released when the periods are happening. So anyways, body is lacking all the nutrients. The apana vayu is active. That means the energy is anyways going down, right? So this is the time where rest and recovery and rejuvenation, all these things can be done, right? And warming things like having warm things like jaggery water and not taking cold showers, not having ice creams, even though a lot of women feel nahi yaar to ice cream periods, ice cream. नहीं, they are actually the worst thing to take, है ना? उस टाइम पे सबसे ज्यादा डिसिप्लिन होना चाहिए, है ना? But yeah, so during the first few days, especially let's say if somebody has some women has a 5 day cycle, for the first 3.5 days, 4 days, they should not do yoga. When we say yoga, they can do sukshma vyayam. Sukshma vyayam is okay because you are energizing the body. You are at least not letting the joints and the ligaments get too tight. During that time, sukshma vyayam is okay. Gentle pranayamas are okay, and meditation is okay. Yes. But on the last day, when last period is just closing, that time you can start with gentle asanas or very simple practices.
So, during menses, it's not advisable to do yoga. So during pregnancy, they can do yoga.
Definitely. During pregnancy, one should definitely do yoga because pregnancy yoga is not about only the physical part. It's about preparing that whole womb for a child to come in and for a yogi to be born, right? So pregnancy yoga is not only about women, but also about it's about the child which is about to come. So both the mother and the child, they both get nourished during that time. Can meditation do during menstruation? Definitely. Meditation can be done. It's not a physical practice, but even though it calms down the mind. है ना? At least during the periods, we need to keep the mind even more calmer, right?
What type of meditation you are again recommending, Ryan?
What type of meditation? Any meditation by Gurudev is good enough.
Okay. So they can do guided and as well as Sahaj meditation, right?
Sahaj is the best, of course.
Okay. So now coming to medical point of view, what asanas to be avoided during any strenuous medical conditions?
Yeah. So we'll take the questions later. आप उसमें डालते रहिएगा, है ना? Group chat में. In the meantime, we can have our discussion. Yes, Shanmuga, can you ask the question again?
Yeah. So in what medical conditions we need to avoid asanas or meditations?
See, meditation should only be avoided in conditions like where there is too much of agitation in the mind and too much of restless, even though it is counter to what meditation does. But in fact, if somebody's mind is too agitated, for example, somebody who is suffering from schizophrenia or bipolar disorder, and the condition is happening right at a particular moment, and somebody who is in a complete agitated state of mind, they will not be able to meditate, right? So for them, the first line of action would be pranayama and doing a little bit of asanas, and then meditation would be the second thing, right? And in what conditions asanas and pranayama should not be done? That is completely a very vague question to ask, even though things could be very specific here. So we can say it from the injury perspective. If somebody is suffering from an acute injury, that means it has recently happened. For example, a shoulder injury, elbow injury, knee injury, ankle injury. During that time, avoid doing asanas and let the healing happen. But in the chronic phase, that means the injury has happened previously 2, 3 months or maybe 2 years back. So to come out of that injury, to recover out of that injury, yoga can be done, right? But if any condition is in the acute state, for example, somebody has ulcer, somebody has acute high blood pressure, that in such conditions, asanas and doing any active physical practices should be avoided. But again, the scope is too broad to be concise into one answer. है ना? So, but yeah.
Thank you so much for that. So we can quickly go into a rapid fire round where we can have some medical issues where you can suggest some asanas where they can do. Okay, Vaidya?
Yes. Done.
So now start with sacrum and lumbar problem. People having disc issues. What asana they can do?
Hmm. So somebody who has a sacrum and the lumbar pain, which is basically the lower part of your spine, lot of people have disc lips. People have a protruding lip, which is called the herniated disc. In such conditions, the number one thing is go to your doctor. Okay. After you have visited your doctor and assured that yoga can be done, because in certain conditions yoga cannot be done. It could be contraindicated if it's in the acute stage. Once it has recovered a little gentle movements can be done. So here cat and cow, which is called the Marjari asana, this is a good movement oriented asanas, and doing simple twist, moving whether seated position or lying down on the back is something which can be helpful. And strengthening can also be done, but again, this is we can't specifically answer this question because there are a lot of very specifics that could have a different answer. So we can only do a general, answer to that, because think this is a very tricky area, and there could be altogether a different answer for certain specific conditions.
Can able to understand because depending upon their reports only we can suggest, but just we are giving a broader out view that all these issues people can also do yoga.
Yeah.
So people who are having cervical issues, what they can do?
Yeah, cervical issues, there are a lot of things that they should be doing. They should be doing neck stretches. They should be doing shoulder rolls, shoulder stretches, and arm stretches. Because this whole area, your scalene, your sternocleidomastoid, your shoulder joint, your deltoids, your arm, biceps, your forearms, your hand, they're all connected, right? And this area needs to be relaxed, and this can be relaxed by doing simple gentle movements, by moving head left and right, some isometric stretches and shoulder rotations, wrist rotation. All these exercises are very helpful.
So I think this answers the frozen shoulder also, right?
Yeah, folds the frozen shoulder. A lot of people might not be able to do shoulder rotations, but shoulder shrugs are very important. This movement is very important. And also, we need to check if somebody is having an additional condition, because a lot of people, those who have diabetes and they have a shoulder condition, no matter how much they try to uh, work on their frozen shoulder, if they have uncontrolled diabetes, their shoulder is not going to get fixed. So, first thing is checking whether somebody has sugar or diabetes, reduce or bring the diabetes down. And then, if you fix your shoulder, then the shoulder becomes easier to be corrected. Sometimes, if the frozen shoulder is frozen too hard, then it has to be taken to a physiotherapist and they break the shoulder. So when we say break the shoulder, it literally means they break the muscle that's gotten stuck, right? So some people can do it with the help of some simple movements by stretching and doing things like that. For some, it has to be surgically done, where they are undertaken in an anesthesia, and then when they are sleeping, the shoulder is broken so that the mobilization starts happening. Right? But general movement, this shoulder shrugging is very good, and also keeping the hand on the wall and just going against the wall. So this movement with the help of somebody, and then Gomukhasana is also very good, if that's possible.
For varicose veins?
Varicose veins, the classical way to get out of varicose vein, if it's in the initial stages, if it's already gone past repair, that means it's, the spider veins are all over the leg, then only surgically it might be possible. But when it's beginning, doing very simple exercises like Saral Vipreet Karni, which is putting the legs on the wall, where you're lying down on the floor, putting the legs on the wall. This is very good. And while you're keeping the legs on the wall, doing ankle pumps, that is pulling the toe in and up, toe in, out, toe in and out. This is going to be very helpful.
So the now upcoming disease is knee issues in women
Yeah.
and both in men and women.
Yeah, knee issue. See, knee is one joint that does not have muscles, right? So, knee, since it does not have the muscle of its own, it only has ligaments and tendons. So, what you can do is you can work on the muscles around the knee so that the pressure that is being handled by the knee can be transferred to the other muscles. Now, what are those muscles? Your hamstring, your quadriceps or thighs, or the back of your thighs, and your calf muscles. If you have a strong calf muscles, if you have a strong quadriceps, if you have a strong hamstring, your pressure on the knee reduces, and that can be done by doing a lot of exercises. Isometric stretches. If you Google, you'll find a lot of isometric stretches, and doing regular asanas can help you build the strength of the knee. And one thing that I always suggest is doing self abhyangam in the morning, right? Application of oil in the morning, 15 minutes before going for a shower. It's perfect for joint related issues.
For migraine?
Two-step solution. Number one, learn Sudarshan Kriya. Most of the people, those who have migraine, after they learn Sudarshan Kriya, migraine is gone for good. Second is doing Jalneti. If you practice Jalneti for a period of 1 month, 2 months, your migraine is going to permanently go out of your life. Simple as that.
Are we teaching Jalneti, Bhaiya?
Hanji?
Are we teaching Jalneti in any of our programs?
Oh yeah. We have a module called the Shatkriya module. The Jalneti is taught there. Yeah.
For indigestion?
So for indigestion, see, indigestion could be because of many things. One of the major cause of indigestion is a sluggish liver. So working on your liver, where your abdomen, or basically the asanas where the work is done on the abdominal area, is very helpful in increasing the whole digestive issue. And also, because see, your digestion happens with a lot of hormonal secretions, and your hormonal secretions happen with the master gland, which is in the brain, pituitary gland. So also doing inversions are very helpful, and doing pranayamas are also very helpful in increasing the indigestion related issues. And some shatkriyas like Kapal Bhati and Agnisar are very helpful. Right?
For constipation issues?
Constipation issues, number one, they are, first of all, we need to find out why is constipation happening. Either there is a lack of hydration in the body. Second, there is too much of stress, because constipation is a stress borne disease. And third, how to get out of it, include a lot of roughage in your diet. Secondly, drink a lot of water. Third, lubricate yourself with ghee. A2 ghee would be the best. Or at the same time, do asanas like Pavan Muktasana, Malasana, or doing the Kati Chakrasana and Bhujangasana. All these asanas where your abdomen is getting crushed is quite good for constipation.
Now the world famous disease diabetic.
Diabetes, yeah. Diabetes is a lifestyle disorder. Only by doing asanas, it's not going to help. Right? You have to change the way you live your life and change the way you, eat. So one simple solution in the lifestyle perspective, I can say for all of those people, those who are suffering from diabetes, just for 1 month, I tell you, 1 month, try to remove wheat, rice, sugar, right, from your diet completely, morning till night. No wheat, no sugar, no rice, and replace this with millet. It could be kodo millet, it could be foxtail millet, it could be pearl millet, any Indian millet, and you change your diet completely into that. Within 1 month, I guarantee your levels of diabetes are going to change significantly. So this is from the lifestyle perspective. Second, do a lot of Padma Sadhana, which is Art of Living's Shishi Yoga Padma Sadhana protocol. Beautiful Padma Sadhana. And also doing a lot of Surya Namaskar, because you need to activate your pancreas, but not necessarily all times the functionality of the pancreas is responsible. Sometimes the body becomes insulin resistant. So even if there is a high level of insulin in the blood, which balances the blood sugar in the body, but your body has become resistant to the insulin. So how to deal with it? Because then it becomes autoimmune disorder. How to deal with the autoimmune disorder is by doing a lot of pranayamas. A lot of pranayamas are helpful in doing or taking care of the autoimmune diseases. Right? Yeah.
Or thyroid issues?
Yeah, thyroid issues. See, number one is shoulder stand, then Marjari Asana, and also you need to check what is the the reason for thyroid issues. Also, what you can try to do is, a lot of these days there is a fad of consuming Himalayan pink salt, right? So for maybe a month or two, you can start increasing the concentration, or basically start putting common rock salt, which is basically the pink salt, and a combination of iodized salt that is available in the market. Try this combination. There could be a possibility that the thyroid issue might get corrected, right? So nowadays it's a fad that, okay, only pink salt, only pink salt. But it is found that when people have changed back to the normal salt, their thyroid issues have gotten better, right? And there is one naturopathic treatment also, which, if possible, we can all try. So if there is hypothyroidism, that means there is a lack of the hormone secretion of the thyroid gland. We put a warm towel. Basically, we dip it in the hot water and put it in the neck region for 5-10 minutes. If it's a hyper or active, overactive thyroidism, where people are very slim, too slim, for that we need to reduce the functionality of the thyroid. That for such people, you need to take normal water and then place it for 5-10 minutes. This is also seen to find a solution for a thyroid issue.
Seems to be we are getting a solution from many aspects rather than yoga. So thank you so much for giving all your knowledge and inputs. So now coming to BP.
Okay, so BP, a classical mudra, Apanavayu mudra, right? So you take your first finger, place it at the base of the thumb, fold it over. Middle finger and the ring finger, they are touched, and this is the mudra. And keep sitting in this mudra for about 1 hour every day. The BP really gets controlled with this mudra, right? This is especially effective for the high blood pressure. And then for low blood pressure, this is a particular point here, which is basically your arterial nerve gets passed, which goes directly to the heart. So somebody who has a very low blood pressure and there is a possibility of the person happening Jai Gurudev. So what you need to do is you need to immediately press upon this particular point here, right? Around 25 times. This is, and it's very painful, but it activates or pulses the heart because it's directly pumping the heart right now. It is closest to the heart, and the blood pressure gets back to normal. One is this. Second is uh, pump the calf muscles of that particular person. Immediately raise the legs of that person who has a low blood pressure and start pushing the calf muscles, because calf muscle is also called the second heart. It returns the venous blood back to the heart. So, and also when the legs are put up, the pressure on the heart increases. So the blood pressure increases. So these are the few tips that can be done. And of course, for long-term benefit, Anulom Vilom Pranayama for high blood pressure, and for low blood pressure, Bhastrika, but not the other way around. Okay.
For edema?
Edema, Vipreet Karni is one good. And then ankle pumps, basically, or ankle rotations. So we lying down on the floor, keeping your hands behind the back. You just pull the leg towards toes towards your body and away, towards away, towards away. So this is very good for edema. And also, Saral Vipreet Karni, putting the legs on the wall.
People feeling numbness in the hand and leg.
Okay, so numbness in the hand and leg could be because of many reasons. But yes, as a general thing, what you can do is ask them to stretch a little, move their joints, because sometimes there is basically this neuron or basically nerve that gets pressed, and because of the pressing of that nerve, because either there is not too many, the circulation is not proper, or the muscles have become too stiff that the nerve is getting pressed. So when you open up the muscles, it helps you come out of the numbness. And also doing practices like Nadi Shodhan Pranayama and Brahmari can be very helpful.
Now for hand and leg arthritis.
Yeah, arthritis means the swelling of the joints of the body. So when it is in the initial stages, one very important thing is that we see a doctor immediately, and do not delay that, okay, because nothing is happening or nothing is happening. Because one arthritis becomes in the advanced stages, it is very difficult, it is very painful, and movement is restricted. So how to come out of it? By moving. We have to move. We have to move our joints and ligaments, and also doing warm therapies, doing warm oil application, and a lot of sun. So ideally, a best way, I'd also uploaded one of my YouTube videos related to arthritis, where I'd given a very simple solution. Number one, when you wake up, the first thing that you do is doing a abhyangam with an oil. The best oil would be gingerly oil or til tailam, because it is quite active, or Ksheerabala Tailam. Ksheerabala Tailam is specifically for arthritis. And indirectly heating it on a hot water, and then applying it all over the body. After doing the abhyangam, then you do some sukshma vyayam so that the oil gets properly absorbed. After that, at least for half an hour, sit in sun, in the morning sun, and then take a shower with warm water. If the pain is too much, you can also include Epsom salt into the water so that the pain reduces. And then be active throughout the day. Do not do anything which brings a little cold or coolness in the body. है ना? Be warm. That's something that can be done.
Last but not the least, lower back pain.
Yeah. So lower back pain, if it is happening because of sitting throughout the day, there is one simple solution, or in fact two solutions. You can say solution number one: do a combination of Pavan Muktasana and Setu Bandhasana, and holding it for 10 seconds, 10 seconds each, and repeating it 3 times. This is solution number one. Solution number two is going close to the wall. Keep your back on the wall, and you see that there'll be a gap in between the wall and you. Now, what you have to do in that particular thing, you have to basically um, ensure that your feet are about half foot away from the wall. They are, about, let's say if this is the wall, your feet are here, about half foot away from the wall, and your back is on the wall. Push your navel in so that your lower back rested on the wall, and hold that position for 30 seconds. And every day, increase it by 5 seconds till the time it reaches at least 1 minute, and repeat this twice, morning and night. I tell you, lower back pain easily gets corrected.
Thank you so much. Now coming to children point of view. So for children, for best focus, what asanas you will suggest?
Yeah. So for children, see, usually there are a lot of asanas that they need to do. And Surya Namaskar is quite effective. And also Shishu Asana. Why it is called Shishu Asana? Because it's an asana that a Shishu does, right? It increases the blood flow into the head, the brain. It increases your brain function. And it is also restorative. It calms down the nervous system, helping the children become better at studies, become better at anything to do. So one is Shishu Asana, then downward facing dog, which children generally love a lot. And and also doing Surya Namaskar is quite effective, because Surya Namaskar directly works on your Manipura chakra or your navel center. Navel center is also the seat of intuitive ability in the human consciousness. So their intuitive ability also increases, right? They are able to have better intuition when they do Surya Namaskar.
Is there any other suggestion for concentration and memory power for the kids?
Yeah, Brahmari is very effective. Nadi Shodhan Pranayama is very effective. And of course, children should also meditate. Meditation is very important to increase the concentration. And of course, the children Kriya is there, which they should never skip. Intuition process is there. They should definitely do.
Thank you so much for your time and your brief description about yoga. And I think so you didn't stop with yoga. You have given so many other knowledge of your thing also. Can we go with some few questions in the chat? Can we go with that, Bayan?
Yeah. I'll take some questions. So Sunita Narang is asking, cancer prevention with yogic practices, can chemo and radiation be replacement by so? So see, it depends. So if there is a tendency in your family, there is a particular test in the medical science that you can check the disposition of the cancer in your family. So if it's running in your DNA, if it's running in your genes, there is a possibility of cancer happening in the family, in a particular family. Certain families have lack of or less possibility of cancers happening. So yes, cancer can be prevented with a yogic lifestyle, because it's a complete change of a yogic lifestyle. In fact, if you move into a millet based diet, like I just mentioned, for a month, if you do it for 6, there are certain research which is done that just by including millet diet and not including white sugar, white rice, white flour, or the wheat into the diet, can actually reverse a lot of cancers. But again, scientific evidence is required out of the same. And if the doctor has suggested that chemo and radiation is something which is required for a particular thing, it's number one personal choice. I would not recommend somebody to go against your doctor, but at the same time, do it in consultation with an Ayurvedic doctor or maybe a homeopathic doctor, and see what is best for somebody. So this is one question. Then Can ovarian cyst be cured by yoga? Definitely, there is a possibility of getting out of the ovarian cyst, because cyst is just an additional mass that has been created. So when you are including a yogic diet in your complete or yogic lifestyle, there is a possibility of anything which is not natural to the human body can get out of the system naturally. Yes, but at the same time, it is also to very important to visit a doctor and take consultation and guidance, right? So yoga is not something that should be done exclusively, but it should be done holistically along with some practices, right? Can we only do Padmasadana as yoga practice? Well, yes, you can, but there are a lot of things that, for example, there are certain asanas which are not a part of the Padmasadana. And Padma Sadhana, when it was designed, Gurudev said it's a sadhana. It's a particular way to achieve a particular result, right? But when you are doing asanas, when you're doing a holistic practice of asana, pranayama, meditation, all this has a certain effect on the whole body, right? So it's like comparing an apple from an orange, है ना? तो हम उन दोनों का कुछ वो नहीं कर सकते, कंपैरिजन नहीं कर सकते. पूर्ण योग अभ्यास का अपना एक फायदा है और एक पद्म साधना का एक स्पेसिफिक फायदा है ना? तो but both are good, but just by doing padma sadhana doesn't mean that you're doing yoga fully. ठीक है? Dust and pollen energy sinusitis. Dust and pollen energy sinusitis के लिए best solution is jal neti. Neti से best कुछ नहीं है. In fact, I myself had allergic rhinitis and sinusitis and rheumatoid sinusitis, and I got rid of the sinusitis only by doing jal neti. But I did jal neti for straight off 1.5 years without missing even a single day. But after that, after doing jal neti, the sinusitis has not returned to my life, right? So now I don't do jal neti. है ना? Which millets are advised for the summer season? Well, all the heavier millets, which can be digested in the summers, can be taken. Winters may the millets which take more time to digest can be avoided, because summers में आपका already Jat Ragni is active, more active, so it's easier to digest heavier millets. But for example, we have bajra. Bajra is heavier to digest, so that's why वो बाजरा होता भी winters में ही है ना? So नहीं, मतलब वो summers में आता है, इसलिए all the millets which are heavier to digest can be consumed in the summers. But there is a professor who is currently he's also an art living teacher, and he's from Chhattisgarh. So उनका एक workshop है जिसमें वो पूरा का पूरा बताते हैं millets, कौन से millets कब ले सकते हैं. In fact, in the comment section later on, what we can do is Tripurari ji उनका एक रेफरेंस दे देते हैं, बिकॉज वो पूरे भारतवर्ष में उसका भ्रमण करते हैं. और इनफैक्ट जस्ट कपल ऑफ डेज बैक ओनली ही हैड कम टू द आश्रम एंड टू द योगा स्कूल, where he was talking about the power of millets, and he had, in fact, his team had met Prime Minister Narendra Modi last year and had been honored because last year it was the World Millet Year, and the information about him we can put it there, perhaps for because he has done a lot of research on it. There'll be a lot of questions on millet that perhaps I'll not be able to answer, but he would be able to answer. We'll post that his name and his contact details in the description in the Tripurari ji's YouTube channel. Can a benign cyst on kidney be cured by yoga? Yes, there is definitely a possibility. Anna. Definitely, cyst can be, and we have seen through yoga, through a lifestyle change. When we say yoga, it is not only specific to asana, pranayama, it is also complete lifestyle change where food, diet, sleep, everything included, meditations, yoga nidra. In fact, yoga nidra with sankalpa is such a powerful thing that if you take a sankalpa that I am healthy and I am happy, and you do this for a period of 3 months to 6 months, I tell you, a lot of diseases in the body completely gets rid out of the system by only doing sankalpa based yoga nidra. And in fact, Gurudev's Sankalpa based meditation or Yog Nidra is there available on YouTube on Gurudev's channel. So you can definitely do that. I'm doing regular Sanyam sadhana into early morning. Can I do Shirshasana? Now I'm 72. In my young age, I am doing Shirshasana. Well, Barindaji, it totally depends. If you are comfortable right now, you can do. But if you find it difficult, there is a risk of fall, then there is no point. Because Gurudev says the whole purpose of doing asana is to be able to sit and meditate, right? So Sukshma Vyayam is also good, not a problem, right? Is depression, anxiety, can we suggest meditation to someone? Meditation is definitely going to be helpful, but exclusively meditation might not work, right? That is why pranayama along with meditation is very important. That's why Sudarshan Kriya is taught for people, those who have depression and anxiety, not directly making them some other practice, but because first their prana shakti needs to be increased. So Gurudev gives this beautiful example that we have three types of body. We might have heard that there is this physical body and there is this astral body, right? And there is Karan Sharira. There is a third body also. We are not going to talk about that. But when your Sukshma Sharira, when your subtle body, which is supposed to be bigger than this physical body, when it shrinks down and becomes smaller than this physical body, we feel like coming out of this body. For example, when you know that you're a size L, you wear a size L t-shirt, but you end up wearing a S size, what happens? You would like to get rid of that S, right? You would want to just come out of it. Similarly, somebody whose prana is has become so small that it has become smaller than this physical body, they would like to basically end this body, right? So what we need to do is first increase their prana. How do we increase the prana? The highest and the best way is pranayama, right? That's why it's called pranayama, right? Moving in the dimension of the prana, right? So pranayama is very effective, and then making them meditate. So combination of uh, Sudarshan Kriya and Sahaj Samadhi meditation is a power-packed thing to come out of depression and anxiety. Which meditation to do during pregnancy? There are so many meditations in Sattva app. Yes. So I had this beautiful opportunity of asking this question directly from Gurudev. And Gurudev had said all meditation I have given are good to practice. Right? So just open any meditation and practice. All are good for pregnancy. Okay. I think we're done with the questions now.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. This is a very, very, very enlightening session. So hope you all enjoyed. You got a broader perspective of yoga, pranayama, meditation, dharana, dhyana, samadhi, and what to eat, lifestyle. Right? Yes. Hope we have enjoyed a lot in this session. So we are really, really grateful for Ashish Bhaiya for giving this enlightened session, taking time in his busy schedule, and for Tripurari Bhaiya